Good afternoon. This is Universal TV. My name is MUNENE. We are going to discuss more about Nairobi Expressway. In my studio, I have guests who are going to introduce themselves. Now, starting from my right hand side, maybe you can introduce yourself.
My name is MWENDWA, a journalist.
My name is MUKTAR. I'm also a journalist.
Okay, my viewers, I welcome and accept your comments as we go through the program, and we really appreciate you being with us till the end. So the first question, Mr. Jeff, I will ask you, maybe we have seen that Nairobi Expressway seems like something that is so much attracting attention to Kenyan maybe way of life, and as we have known that Rwanda has been almost overtaking the Nairobi activities, things to do with infrastructure, tourism, because it has been less congested, and development have been in highlights more than Nairobi. Do you think by the fact that now we are introducing Nairobi Expressway, it will now mean that our country will now go back to the position of being highly ranked in the nationwide or worldwide?
Okay, Nairobi Expressway is not enough to define Nairobi as a city. We cannot just assume because of the Nairobi Expressway we are going to give competition to Rwanda. Because if we look, what makes the capital of Rwanda to stand out is not just infrastructure, but the fact that they are able to keep the city clean. Because if you go to Nairobi CBD right now, you find that there's a lot of mess. So much needs to be done. So even though this Nairobi Expressway has put Nairobi ahead, I think there's so much to be done. If you compare Rwanda, the infrastructure there is maybe a bit less than Nairobi, but what they are doing is that they have very good measures to ensure that the city is clean throughout. So unless we are able to pay attention to these minor things, it will still be a challenge for us to stand out in the city.
So I think the main challenge about Nairobi was more about congestion, right? And for me, I'm thinking like if we really work on the congestion, and maybe we can attract more infrastructures and maybe make it more a favorable place for business and all those things. Don't you think so?
For me, in this Nairobi New Express Highway, it will reduce the high congestion of the city. You know, when the city is developing stage, it will bring a lot of investors to develop within the city, so that and later on, as we are in among the developing countries, I hope we will be in a suitable side that this road will make a lot of impact to the citizen by just reducing that jam. You know, going to Kenyatta International Airport, some take 2 hours, 3 hours for this thika super highway. So it will reduce. You just take 30 minutes instead of that long hours.
I think I agree with you. And Mr. Jeff, maybe I will inform you about this, that our country, Kenya, basically is like nurtured, the economy is nurtured by mainly about the tourism. So by the fact that we are trying to attract more people outside there, I think it will boost our tourism sector as well, entrepreneurs in our country. Don't you think so?
Yeah, the Nairobi Expressway is making it easier to conduct business. So it's going to attract more people. But you know, at the end of the day, yes, it's attracting people and revenue is coming in. But what we want is that we are not just going to be happy because it's going to attract people. What will make us more comfortable is to assure us that when we get the revenue and we get the taxes, they are going to be used in the right way. There will not be corruption in the country, and the common wananchi will be able to live comfortably.
So now you agree that it will be of benefit to our country?
To the tourism, yeah, it will benefit our country. But you know, the problem is we have had a lot of misappropriation of funds. It will give revenue to our country, but the big question is, from the way we have been able to handle things previously, are we assured that this money will be used in the right way?
Okay, maybe Mr. Hassan, I will also ask you, we have seen Nairobi Expressway, which is under the Build, Operate, Transfer Contract, CRDC, which will operate in Kenya for the next 27 years, so that they may repay what it has maybe been constructing. We are seeing that it will make a profit of almost 106.8 billion. This being a way of the government trying to maybe come up with projects that it may not operate by itself. Like now we can say that Kenya may not do so many projects, but coming up with such maybe CRBC which can conduct such project without involving us Kenyans. But we are seeing it is making a lot of profit from it. Do you think it's a good idea to do such projects?
For me, it is a good idea. You know, building the infrastructure of the city, it will enhance to get a lot of investors. You know, we are still developing, as I mentioned earlier. Our money and our revenue cannot sustain us to manage our economy. We need to get investors so that we can boost up our economy. I hope it will be a better place for this road to be and later on, paying a revenue is just a commercial work for every project. But for us to pay that revenue, for that investors' money that we have taken as a loan, it will take us some years. But having a challenge to our local people, but I hope we will cope up as time goes as we enable learn the benefit of that from.
Okay, Mr. Jeff, maybe looking at this profit these guys are making, we do consider that it would have constructed more other roads within our country. Do you think this is a good idea for Kenyan government to use these companies outside our country? Because these are Chinese company that is working in our country so that they may help us develop in a way. But the profit they are making, it's like scaring us. Don't you think it's something weird?
Yeah, this was not a good option for the country, because you see, at the end of the day, we have to go deeper into our pockets to be able to pay these guys back. I think the Nairobi Expressway should teach us a lesson, because right now we can't go back because it has already been constructed. We have already borrowed the money, we are in debt, but it's up to the next government to learn that we don't have to go so far to the extent of having debts for years for the sake of infrastructure. So it's not a good initiative, but we have already made the mistake. What matters is that we learn and we ensure that we do not have to borrow the money. But now, you know, it's not our option, because these guys are the ones who gave us the money, they gave us the labor, they gave us the minds. So we have to usher them to come and pick the revenue. We do not have an option because they owe us.
Okay, before we take our commercial break, I would like to maybe correct you. We didn't borrow money. What happened is that we just gave this project to like entrepreneurs who will come and construct these roads without using our own money. And we will pay that money, but we have not paid. We have not borrowed, right? It's not like when we go to borrow China that we come to do our project.
What is that then?
Okay, we will say it's like, it's better because we are not much.
If for example,
again, yes. I will say that it's a project that we were told that the president said this project is totally, the risk is totally to those entrepreneurs. So in case Kenyans choose not to use that path, the government will not pay them. So I don't, you cheat me about that.
For me, in that issue, as it was earlier declared by the president, for him to launch this project is a good idea, and will make him to leave a legacy for him holding the 10 years the presidential power of the country. So far as you mentioned, this process or this project was just built by some investors that came together, not as a loan taken by those former countries that we used to borrow it as normally, as has become our habitual as the country. But it's a good idea, but the revenue that they're generating is too much as compared to our economy stated at this moment. But for me, I say it's a good idea and it will help us a lot.
Okay, that takes us to a commercial break. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Thank you.